Olympus is epic. Epic. But like all great story epics, it's one that's founded in what I call the small, big thing, the human heart. It's set in 2000 BC, which is a time before the Greek Golden Age, the age when most of these myths and tragedies were written.
We have an opportunity to do something that hasn't really been done on a television show before, which is to really create interesting environments the story takes place within.
One of the things about doing a show like this, where there's a large visual effects component and you're doing somewhat of a fantasy world, where you can't really shoot your exterior environments in the real world because it doesn't exist the way it existed back then. A wonderful challenge for a designer, because you're drawing all day, because everything has to be built or envisioned, whether built in a virtual world or the physical world. So it's a lot of fun for a designer. From that, the visual effects department will create the models based on our representations, and then we'll build some of the foreground and midground elements that allow the actors to interact with, but also to better place that model into a real-world environment so that it feels much more tangible to the audience.
There are over 50 different CG environments. Every single shot in the show has been lovingly crafted.
So far for Olympus, we've created some really neat characters. It started out with the Cyclops. We went on to create the Kronos character, and for that we decided we wanted to break outside of the human limitations of what a prosthetic would allow. But it's a deconstructive process, building any of these things. We started with the design, and we did several pencil sketches, kind of went old school with it. We went back to pen and paper just so we were kind of free.
My design process for Olympus and some of the things I started with, for me, it started essentially at the script stage, and it started meeting with the showrunner, Nick, and creator. Now, of course, this is a Greek tragedy. It evokes horns. I hear horns, brass things. So I knew at some point I would definitely have to start leaning on strings and brass as well. I had leaned very heavily on a vocal, on the swooning, the alto female voice, which totally lends itself to picture into the on-screen events. I'm feeling good that I ended up writing some large music for this.
What the Greeks understood is all those various things that come together to create that feeling. And a lot of their stories are about the nature of love, or at least, more accurately, the tragedy of love.
A focus on character and storytelling with unique backgrounds, unique settings, interesting camera angles, filmmaking tools, all of those things will make it a very special show.